Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with educational institutions and companies supporting their family wellbeing. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I am super excited to be interviewing Kim. Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay, so obviously I'm Kim and I work for Green Umbrella Marketing, which is a social media agency. And I started there as a bit of a PA for the boss, Christina, and we do loads of stuff with the guys in the recruitment world. And yeah, I started just doing bits and bobs, but I've learned a lot from Christina, and I've taken some of those things on and sort of used them in my personal life, which is kind of why I'm sat here.
Yes, and I am so excited because as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is going to be amazing. So you chose the title, Start a Podcast, The Road to 10K. Can you tell us about that? What does it mean? And
Okay, so I've been with Green Umbrella since 2021 now. And along with all the marketing stuff that Christina does, she also has a podcast called Christina Talks, which is all about business, marketing, mindset, all that sort of stuff. And I've always loved social media. So I just, getting a job at a social media agency, it was like mind-blowing. And I've just been learning lots and lots of different things from Christina, and in particular the podcast. I used to do like the admin side of it, so I'd book in the guests, help with the artwork and stuff like that, get it uploaded onto socials. So that always interested me. And then a friend and I were having a conversation one day, and I mean, I'm a bit silly on social media anyway. And she said, "Oh, you should start a podcast." And I thought, yeah, all right then, why not? And long story short, fast forward 13 months, and I'll go into it in a bit more depth afterwards. But we're at nearly 13,000 downloads, top 0.4 or 0.5% podcast in the world. And it's just crazy because it was literally a conversation between a friend and I on Facebook Messenger, voice notes, and then we thought, oh, we'll do this thing and maybe our friends will listen to it, and it just went poof. Just
wow. So it's funny, isn't it, when you don't like put so much effort and force things, sometimes it just happens, doesn't it? It just flows. But can you tell us, so what made you do the podcast, and what is the podcast? And hi, Mohammed, how are you? The topic is podcast, creating a podcast, the road to 10K.
Okay, so this is how it started.
Tell us.
It's a podcast about love and relationships, good dates, bad dates, that sort of thing. It's all very tongue-in-cheek. It's very funny, a little bit outrageous at times, but it's basically a conversation between a friend of mine, and I, and people send their stories in, and we then just have a chat about it's all about online dating, and in this modern time of how just ridiculous it can be sometimes. And I'd gone out on a date with someone, and I voice noted my friend on the way home. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, he was amazing. I mean, it's really cringe to look back at it. And she said, I think I've gone out with that guy. And I was like, no way. Anyway, she tells me this story, and it turns out, thankfully, it wasn't the same person. Then she went on to tell me she said, oh, I've got so many stories, you wouldn't even believe what's happened to me. So she sent me a couple more, and I said, you've got to make that into a TikTok story, because I was just howling. It was brilliant. And she said, oh, no, I couldn't do that, but you should start a podcast. And then my brain went, let's do it. Wow. So then within a couple of weeks, I'd bought the microphones, I'd researched what I need to do, how often we should do it. And obviously working with Christina, she already gave me a lot of that knowledge anyway.
Yeah, because you'd already been doing it. But I love that, because sometimes people they work the other way, don't they? I want a podcast, what shall I do it on? But you did it the other way, and I think that's why it works, because you had the topic and everything before.
Yeah, and I got some very clear instructions. Christina knows exactly what I'm like, and she was like, right, just calm down. Okay, you need to know who you're speaking to, what you know, who's the audience, what you want it to be about, and all that sort of stuff. So within a weekend, I'd sent her, right, I had my little book, and I was like, right, this is the audience, this is what I'm going to do. So it was like, she was like, if you're going to do it, absolutely, it sounds amazing, but you need to, don't just go from 1 to 100, because I get quite excited with things.
Well, yeah, it sounds exciting though.
Yeah, so we did that, and we stream on all the big platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and yeah, it just seems to be going really, really well. It still blows my mind that people, because I would go out in the local town that I'm in, and people go, "Are you the lady that does the podcast?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm just little old me. I just,
Wow.
I don't know. It's still very, very strange to me, but I love it.
And what do you think? So, how do you think it became so successful? I mean, I think it's because you had the topic and everything, and it just all happened organically. But so people watching, because I know so many people, have podcasts, and I'm sure they don't have that many listeners in a year. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So.
Yeah, so I think, like you say, the topic matter. It's very relatable to people. A lot of people,
real topic.
Real, yeah, and it's very relaxed. It is, like I say, just me and a friend having a chat. The stories are quite funny. People send their stories in all anonymously, which then starts the conversation. Oh my God, that happened to me.
Yes.
And honestly, consistency is a massive factor. You have to be consistent. Your social media presence has to be. If it wasn't for social media, this thing would never have taken off, because I built an Instagram page, a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, and I was on this thing every single day.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Kim. So what were the first steps then? So the first step is you found a topic.
Yeah, so we found a topic. We wrote out what it was going to be. We had to decide how often we were going to put these out. How long was it going to be?
Oh yeah, how long?
So we got that down. We decided we were going to do one a week, and it'll be anywhere between 40 minutes and an hour.
Okay.
And it'll go out on a Monday. So that was that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then we had to give it a name, which actually, and this is another important thing, I think, why it's taken off. The audience actually picked the name of it. So I threw it out on Facebook, and I said, I threw it out and I said, thinking about starting a podcast about dating and all the disasters, the good and the bad. Let's give it a name. And loads of different suggestions came in, and this one suggestion just came in, and I was like, that's the one.
That's the one. You knew.
I just knew. I don't know why, but I just knew. And I've got a very, very good friend, Charles, who does. He's a photographer and videographer, and he came up with a logo for me. So he came up with the branding.
Wow.
And it all looks quite professional.
So it all sort of flowed. Yeah,
and it was really, really nice actually, because Christina and Charles have been a massive part of making this thing work. Because Christina for all the knowledge, Charles did branding, he edited the first ones, he sorted out the intro. So when it launched, it wasn't just, hello, we're here. There was a full intro, there was a build up to it. I was releasing snippets on Instagram, like reels and stuff like that. So the day it launched, I mean, we had 300, before we'd even released an episode, we had 300 followers on Instagram, which I thought was mental. So I thought, if only 10% of the people that are following listen, then I'll be happy. So I was aiming for 30 on day one. Well, at the end of 24 hours, I think we had something like, if I can remember rightly, about 150.
Wow. Yeah.
Which even
That's brilliant. Yeah.
But by the end of week 1, it was almost 1,000.
Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot for your first podcast, first episode. Oh my, wow.
And I remember there's no so anybody that wants to start a podcast, you don't need a big studio, you don't need all of this equipment. A friend and I sat in an office using somebody else's equipment, actually. Just in an office, me and her, we didn't even have separate mics. We had the same microphone. And it just worked. And now we have bought new mics, but they're only 30 quid Amazon. And I now do the editing because Charles is super busy, which is amazing. I do the editing, and actually, when I say editing,
that's what I was going to say. Do you edit a lot? Because sometimes
we did 2 things, because a lot of people are saying we want to see this, like we want to see the recording of this, because the way that we bounce off each other, they were like, you've got to, we need to see this. Yeah. So when it's just me and the girls, it will be over Zoom, and it'll be very much the reels. They'll just take a snippet like this. But then we'd have studio days with Charles, and he'd have the lighting, he'd have the desk set up, we'd have the mics, and he's got the 3-way camera things going on. So when we did that took a lot of editing, because of obviously he'd cut when I was talking, the camera would be on me, then it would cut to the co-host. Okay. So that would take a lot of editing. But when it's just me and the girls, we are very honest and raw, and we put out exactly what we record, unless it goes catastrophically wrong. If there's any fumbles, if we're laughing too much, or we fluff.
That's amazing. Oh, I love it.
We record it, we stick an intro on, we put the artwork, and we throw it out there.
And it sounds like you have fun while you're doing it. And I think if you're having fun with something, that's contagious as well. People want to have fun and laugh. Like nowadays, people are so stressed out, aren't they? And there's so many things going on. And I think, sense of humor and having a laugh. I mean, I think that's probably another reason why it's successful. Yeah.
I was just about to say, I think that's why it works, because and it comes out on a Monday. So, a lot of people say that they listen to it on their way to work on a Monday. So it's that dreaded, oh God, I've got to go to work again. And then they put this thing on the way to work. And it's just, I mean, not to blow my own trumpet, but it's really funny.
Yeah, blow your own trumpet. Yeah, why not?
It's really funny.
Proud of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, me and the girls, we just have a laugh doing it, and we're doing it. I think what works as well is we're doing it for us. It's just a project. And I've got people that we've got. I mean, I think we're listened to now in, I think last check, 47 countries around the world.
Wow! All English-speaking countries.
No, there's some. In fact, let me just get. I'll read out some of the.
That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting.
Let's have a look. Right. So as of yesterday, it was 12,700 downloads.
It's getting increasing all the time.
It is. Well, right. So we have. Let's see if I can open this up. So we've got the usual UK, United States. We've got Israel, Cyprus, Ireland, Russia, Barbados. There's like Georgia. There's so many places.
Wow! So everywhere.
And now I've got, we get people on the. It was so funny. I remember somebody messaged the page, and it's always me that's controlling the page. And I voice noted one of them back once, and I was like, thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate the support. And they sent a voice note back going, oh my God, I feel like I'm talking to Beyonce. I was like, calm down. Calm down.
That's amazing. So what challenges have you had? Sounds like you haven't had any, but
we do.
Yeah, tell us.
So because one of the biggest things is consistency. So we aim to put one out once a week, and the way we were doing it was, to begin with, we'd record 3 or 4, so we'd have a month's worth of content, and then we'd schedule that out. But then actually what we were finding was we wanted to see each other more, because we wouldn't see each other then for 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it was like you build all this up, and then you don't see each other, and then it's
Yes.
do it again. And so we
Yeah.
wanted to meet more regularly, but because there's only 3 of us, illness and things like that sometimes crops up, so we don't get to record. Challenges as well, managing the socials, because
Yeah.
it's predominantly me. I manage the socials, I book the guests in, I now make all the artwork, I do the editing, I get it up to publish, I upload it to YouTube. I'm a single mother as well as having the green umbrella job, so I've got that. I've got some other projects going on. I'm single mum, and then to do this, so it's like
how do you manage it? How do you manage it all? Like, do you have a schedule, or how do you, because that is a lot.
Yeah. How do I manage it? I'm not sure if I do, Jasmine, to be honest.
Well, you are doing a fantastic job.
I think you just have to. I've started blocking time out in my diary now.
Okay.
But you definitely have to be, I have to treat it as if it's work. So if I'm going to work, otherwise, if it's a case, I'll just do it whenever. Like you say, life gets in the way. There are other things that need to be done. So you kind of have to be a bit disciplined with what you're doing, because we noticed that when we dropped off for a couple of weeks, in fact it was a couple of months actually, but we still had some in the bag. It goes down like that, the listens go down, and then when you come back, it's very, so you build it up and then it drops. It's a hell of a long time to claw it back up again.
Oh really? So it really is about being consistent then.
Once that buzz is out, you've just got to keep putting it out there.
And tell us a bit more. I know we won't talk too much about it, but tell us a bit more about the content and how you get the content, because some people, they find that really hard, finding the content and things like that. Because I know you said you had guests and stories and things.
So,
how does it work?
So it started out just me and a friend sharing our stories, and then we asked our friends. We said, look, can you send some in? So we had an email address that people could send to anonymously.
Brilliant.
I put it out on Facebook. If anybody's got any stories, I joined like dating Facebook pages, put it in there. So that helped. What else have we done? Guests wise, some of them are friends of mine. Some of them are actually family members as well, which is a brilliant episode. There was one chap that we interviewed, and I was like, there's no way we're going to get this guy. So I was on Snapchat, and I was on the spotlight part of Snapchat, and there was this story came up, and I thought, okay, that sounds really interesting. So I clicked on the story, saw the guy's name, and I thought, I'm going to have a look I'm just going to see if I can find him on Instagram. Found him on Instagram, voice noted, sent a DM, and I have no filter. I'll just ask the question.
Brilliant. That's the only way, really.
If you say no, you say no. That's fine, and we carry on. But no, this guy's got like 100,000 followers on Instagram. He's been on Bulgaria's Got Talent and all this sort of stuff. And I just thought, I'm just going to throw it out there. And he loved it. He couldn't wait to come on. And now he still shares all of the stuff.
Well, that's the thing, actually. I think when you ask somebody to be a guest, if it's something that they like, they would love to. People love talking about their stories.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've had another girl who we asked her to come on, and the topic was quite sensitive because it's not all roses and everything, and it's quite sensitive. And she shared it with her page, and the listens. It was the fastest, and this was only a few weeks ago. It was the fastest growing first episode. So within week 1, it had that one episode alone had 800 listens. So when we launched 2 or 3 episodes, so people could listen to it and then go, I can't wait to listen to the next one. That was another key bit of advice, actually. When you launch it, launch 2 or 3 episodes. So people, they hear the first one, they go, I want more of that. And they're already brought in then, aren't they? Yeah. So, and she shared it on her TikTok, her Instagram, and the follows just went whoop. overnight.
Wow. So why do you think it is so successful? Because there's so many podcasts out there. There are so many podcasts out there.
It's relatable. It's real. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I think life is it's all very doom and gloom, with a lot of things going on. So I think it's just a light relief for people, to be honest.
Relief, exactly. And I love it. And it sounds like it's not scripted or anything like that.
Oh,
because
no. Even if there was a script, I wouldn't be able to stick to it. I've actually written notes down here conversation, and I'm actually doing all right. I'm doing all right, but not in the order. So yeah.
Exactly. Because a few times, like, I've been on podcasts or people have come on and they're like, what are the questions? Tell me the questions. It's like, I can't, it has to be, for me, it has to just be real, because
it depends whether you want to do it as an interview or a conversation. We're not interviewing people. Please tell me what you think about this. It's just we get an idea of what the guests are going to say before, so we sort of say, just tell us one story, and then it goes wherever it goes. I don't know where it's going to go. Sometimes I'm like, okay.
But is it for over 18s?
Over 18s, yeah.
Over 18s,
yeah. Over 18s. Like I say, it's in no way connected to the social media stuff that I do. This is purely a passion project of mine. But yeah, without Christina's help and knowledge, I would never. I just would never have done it. I wouldn't have even thought of doing it, I don't think.
Wow. So you need quite a lot of things, really, to have a successful podcast. You need the right topic,
Yeah, topic, time, really. Because, like I say, the equipment side of things, the first microphones I bought were little clip-on ones from Amazon. I think they were £30 for two. I pay a subscription fee to a hosting, so Podbean.
Do you?
Do you? Yeah, I use Podbean, so I upload it there, and then it pushes it out to Spotify, Amazon Music, all of that. But that's about £12.
Why do you choose that one then? Because there's Buzzsprout as well, isn't it? Well, there's a few of them.
I chose that one because, and I'd like to give a really in-depth, knowledgeable answer, but basically Charles said that's the one I use.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Because I've got Buzzsprout for my old podcast, and I haven't got. I didn't have a clue about any of them, but
well, Charles, God bless him, he was the one that sorted all of that, linked it all up. I didn't have a clue about how to do all of that, but he did that for us. I now upload it and off it goes. And then actually following that, which is just crazy, we are going to be hosting a speed dating event in our local town off the back of the podcast.
Oh, that's brilliant, Kim.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling about this podcast. I think it's going to like you heard it from me. I think it's seriously going to take off. And honestly,
which is really, really funny that I'm doing a podcast about dating and relationships, because I'm doing neither. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm an expert in this thing yet, but I can certainly talk. That's about as much as I can offer, I think.
This will probably lead to all sorts of things. Hi, David. How are you doing? David's just got a new podcast as well. David said, I've just finished season 1 of my podcast, The Golden Show, and wow, did I learn some lessons. What was a big surprise for you, Kim?
How much time and effort the social side of things. I mean, I work in social media, so I know, and I guess it's because it's a passion project. I was on there all the time. It's me. I don't have anybody else working for me. I've got the other co-hosts that come and do the recordings, but in terms of the admin side of it, it's all me. So I'd say the biggest surprise would be the amount of time that you need to be consistent, to make sure. I mean, it's probably because I was a little bit obsessive to begin with.
But that's because you were so passionate, and it was
But also the biggest surprise is just how well it's gone. Like, I just thought my friends would listen to it, to be polite. But I've now made friends since this podcast because of it, because they listen to it regularly, and they're always supporting and sharing, and it's the whole thing is a big surprise, to be honest, that it actually worked.
That's absolutely amazing. And who are your main listeners? Do you know? Or is it anyone?
So our main listeners are between women.
Women, yeah.
Between sort of ages 18 to 35. So it's that sort of bracket. Wow. I mean, mostly my friends as well, but I'm not that popular, so not.
No, but you are, because it's in all these countries and there's so many listeners. So I think, yeah, no, it's exciting. And anybody else who's listening, if you have any questions, please feel free to message questions, comments. We'd love to hear from you. But no, thank you so much, Kim. So is there anything else you want to tell us about starting a podcast, how to get to 10K?
What I would say is be passionate about it. There's no point you doing a podcast about something that you don't put a podcast out there for the sake of it. You have to be passionate about the subject matter, because otherwise that's just going to come through. And it will probably be a bit boring. When you listen to Christina's podcast, Christina Talks, you can see she's really passionate about this stuff, and people tap into that then.
That's true.
So be passionate, be consistent, but also just get over yourself and do it. Because the fear factor, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to sound on a microphone? Oh my God, I'm going to sound so weird. But actually, just do it. And you never know, it could just go better than you ever dreamt of. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody wants the link, please message Kim and she can send you the link.
Oh, yes. Yeah, like I say, it is over 18s. It is very funny, slightly outrageous, but yeah, definitely worth a listen.
No, I'm definitely, I'm really excited to listen to it as well.
What's not so great is when your mum messages you and she says, I've listened to your podcast. I'm like, no, Mum.
No, it's brilliant. And I think you've done amazing.
Thank you.
How can people find you?
So if you message me on here on LinkedIn, I can then send you the links to the pages for the podcast. So yeah, just on here, Facebook, Kim Grocott. The other pages, I don't think I can say the name.
You can post your Facebook links on the post on LinkedIn though. People can
I'll do that. Yeah. But contact me, reach out on LinkedIn, and if you want the link, I'll happily send it to you. And if you want to come on, this is the thing. We'll have we'll have anyone on. You go, I want to come on your podcast. We'll come on then.
You have to have a dating disaster though.
Yeah, yes, but also some of my friends, I've got a very funny circle of friends, if I do say so myself. And sometimes it's their reactions. So I know that when people send stories in, I know that they're just going to give a brilliant reaction. So it doesn't have to necessarily be your personal stories, because I don't share, I mean, there's not many of them, but I don't really share too much of mine. Because the point is that people send this stuff in anonymously. And then we just...
Oh, yes.
Oh, come on. There we go. David Golden.
David coming on. Brilliant, David. I will listen to that episode as well. I want to come on as well.
Do it.
So how do people come on? How can they...
I usually message them. We sort out a time. I send them a link and we jump on a Zoom and job done. There really isn't, it's not some big production. It's very...
That's why it works.
It's very authentic. It's just organic. It's authentic. And like you say, it just works.
Oh, wow. Exciting. No, thank you so much, Kim, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. You've totally inspired me. And I think, you've just reminded me, and I completely agree with this anyway, it's about being real, authentic, and having a laugh. This is what we need, to have a laugh. Sometimes we can be so serious, can't we?
Yeah, life's miserable enough, so why not just take some time out and just forget about all the other stuff that's going on, and be focused on something else.
Exactly. No, thank you so much, Kim. And please connect with Kim, message Kim if you want to go on her podcast. And I'm looking forward to, I'll definitely message you, and I'm looking forward to hearing David. And thank you so much, Kim, and I'll see everybody next week.
Thanks a lot.